Hey guys, it's Jessi. Today I have a highly requested video for you guys. When I made the move from Denver to Reno and I started to set up the IKEA bookshelf that I had a bunch of people request a bookshelf tour, so that is what I'm bringing you today. Yesterday was the perfect snowy day. I had a fire going, I reorganized the shelves, and then I did film this video. So I'm very excited to share it with you guys. It's already going to be a little lengthy, so I'm just going to jump right in and I hope you guys enjoy. Alright you guys, so I'm just going to give you a quick overview of the entire setup that I have right now. This is an IKEA bookshelf. It's like a 5x5 cubbies, and I believe these are discontinued and I don't remember the name, but I absolutely love it. It holds all of my read books, and then you can kind of see a crate system and books on the floor in the far left corner. Those are all the books that are on my TBR. I have not read them yet. And then you can kind of get a glimpse of this little table with a wire basket. That is holding all of the books that I am going to be reading this month. Okay, so first off, we're going to start with my little cubby top left corner that has all of my poetry. So far, I only have 3 books, and the little lantern on top hosts some of our dried out flowers from our wedding. We actually had these lanterns hanging along the aisles, so that was really neat, and we love being able to incorporate these pieces around the house. And back to the poetry, we're going to dive in and share those 3 with you. The first one on the shelf is Milk and Honey by Rupi Kaur. Then there is Salt by Nahira Wahid. Then there is The Writer's Room by Justin Davila. The next shelf, as you can see, is my Harry Potter shelf, and I'll quickly run you through these, but as you know, they are by J.K. Rowling. I have both the originals and the beginning collection of the illustrated. Okay, as you can see here, I have the first book in the Harry Potter series, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Again, the very first one is paperback. That's the first copy I ever received, and the rest were hardback. I was so devastated when I realized packing up for this move, I mean, gosh, it's been years, that was the only mismatched one out of the entire series. So my sweet husband, right before we moved, went ahead and bought me the brand new matching hardcover to go along with the series. And then in the third one, you can see that is the illustrated edition. It is ginormous and absolutely beautiful. The second book in the series is Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. So again, here I have the original book and then the illustrated edition. And I do want to mention that the illustrations are by Jim Kay, and like I just mentioned, they are so gorgeous. I cannot wait for the third one, hopefully out this October. Third book is Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Fourth book is Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. Fifth book is Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. The sixth book is Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. And the final book of the Harry Potter series is Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. Moving on to the next shelf, we have the Legends of Orkney series, and this is actually a duology at the moment, and the final book to complete the trilogy will be out in September. But this one is book number 1, and it is called The Red Sun. It is by Elaine Adams. Book number 2 is called Caliphus Rising. As I am sure most of you are aware of the Twilight series, this is book 1, Twilight by Stephanie Meyer. Book 2 is New Moon. Book 3 is Eclipse. And to complete the Twilight saga is the 4th book, Breaking Dawn. Also kind of to tie in with the Twilight saga is the short Second Life of Bree Tanner, which is a little novella. Moving along, we have another series. This one is Divergent by Veronica Roth. Book 2, Insurgent. Book 3, Allegiant. Then we have the Shatter Me series by Tahara Mafi, and these seriously have some of the most gorgeous covers I have ever seen. Book 2 is Unravel Me, and to complete the Shatter Me series is Book 3, Ignite Me. Then we have the Hunger Games trilogy. The first book is The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. Book 2 is Catching Fire, and Book 3 is Mockingjay. Rounding out the top shelf, I have a couple more sci-fi and fantasies. And to start this series off, it is The Chronicles of Narnia by C.S. Lewis, and the first book is called The Magician's Nephew. Next is The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, The Horse and His Boy, Prince Caspian, The Voyage of the Dawn Treader, The Silver Chair, and the last book, The Last Battle. Again, we have another trilogy. This is the fifth wave. I only have books 1 and 2 because I am waiting for the third book to be in paperback to match my other two, but this is, again, the fifth wave by Rick Yancey, and then you have the second book, which is The Infinite Sea. The next book is The Martian by Andy Weir. Then we have Brave New World by Aldous Huxley, and I believe this one is on my shelf. I recently just picked up a bunch of stuff from my mom's house, and this happened to be there. Read it in high school. Not quite sure where it belongs. I think I need another reread to see if it stays or not. Another dystopian series is The Maze Runner by James Dashner. This is book 1. The second book in the series is The Scorch Trials. The third book is The Death Cure. And the final book in the Maze Runner series, The Kill Order. On to the second row of the shelf, I have my Nicholas Sparks and a couple other romances, but mostly my Nicholas Sparks collection. First up, we have See Me, The Longest Ride, The Best of Me, True Believer, The Notebook, The Wedding, A Walk to Remember, Message in a Bottle, A Bend in the Road, The Lucky One, The Rescue, and the last one on this shelf is Safe Haven. Continuing on with my Nicholas Sparks collection, we have The Choice, Dear John, The Guardian, At First Sight, Nights in Rodanthe, and The Last Song. Snowfall on Haven Point by Rayanne Thine. Then I have the 50 Shades trilogy, and the first book is 50 Shades of Grey by E.L. James. Book 2 is 50 Shades Darker, and the last book in the trilogy is 50 Shades Freed. Moving on to my YA and contemporary section, we're going to start off with Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. The copy on the right is the one that I picked up. It's in English. The copy on the left is actually one that my brother picked up while he was in Brazil for the Olympics, so it's actually in Portuguese, and I absolutely love the fact that it is from one of his travels, and actually I got to attend the Olympics too, so I got to go there, and this is just something super special, so thank you so much, brother. A Study in Charlotte by Brittany Cavallaro, which I do believe this is supposed to be a trilogy, and the second one comes out this February, I believe, the 14th, so I'm super excited to continue on with this series. Before We Were Strangers by Renee Carlino. The art copy is on the left, and the final copy is right there in the center, and this is Swear on This Life by Renee Carlino. It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. Confess, also by Colleen Hoover. Since You've Been Gone by Morgan Matson. The Fault in Our Stars, Paper Towns. This copy is a little rough, it fell into the tub, but this is An Abundance of Catherines. And Looking for Alaska, all by John Green. If I Stay by Gail Forman, and the sequel to If I Stay called Where She Went, also by Gail Forman. Then there is We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. This is my small collection of some historical fiction novels. To start off, I have All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. Between Shades of Grey by Ruta Sepetys. A spin-off to Between Shades of Grey is Salt to the Sea, also by Ruta Sepetys. Again, one of my favorite books that I own, and I highly recommend this one. The Book Thief by Marcus Suzak. This book is actually 2 books in one, and the first book is called The Hello Girl, and the second book is called X Marks the Spot, both by Merlene Lovelace. Orphan Train by Christina Baker Klein. And last up on the shelf is The Swans of Fifth Avenue by Melanie Benjamin. Moving on to the third row of the bookshelf, this little cubby hole is my thrillers and suspense novels, and this one's definitely going to have to be expanded soon because I have so many more to add. But to start off, we have You by Carolyn Kepnes and its sequel, Hidden Bodies. Both of these were fantastic. Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn, Dark Places, and the last one for Gillian Flynn is Gone Girl. This was an art copy for You Will Know Me by Megan Abbott. Another art copy that has been released is The Twilight Wife, The Good Neighbor, both by A.J. Banner, The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins, and the last book on the shelf is He Will Be My Ruin by K.A. Tucker. Then I have a series, and this is actually the second book, and it's called Revenge Wears Prada, The Devil Returns by Lauren Weisberger. And here is the first book in that duology, The Devil Wears Prada, again by Lauren Weisberger. Here we have The Regulars. Again, the final copy is in the front, and the copy to the left in the back is the art copy. This is by Georgia Clark. The Assistants by Camille Perry. An art copy of First Comes Love by Emily Giffen. Another art copy, this one is The One That Got Away by Lee Himes. Girls in White Dresses by Jennifer Close. Shotgun Love Songs by Nicholas Butler. So Close by Emma McLaughlin and Nicola Cross. Unexpected Love by Christy Krizizak. The Choices We Make by Karma Brown. Again, this is another ARC copy. It is released though. Last up on this shelf, again, the back one is an ARC copy, the front one is a final copy. It's also autographed with a sweet little note from the author, Nicole Meyer. This is called The House of Bradbury. Southern Solstice by Sarah Sadler. Found by Emily Brett. Perfect Imperfections by Pooja Mohan. Size Matters by Catherine Novak. Pretty Little World by Elizabeth Laban and Melissa DePino. A House for Happy Mothers by Amula Malaldi. Me Before You by Jojo Moyes. Confessions of a Shopaholic by Sophie Kinsella. Everyone Worth Knowing by Lauren Weisberger. Perfectly Good Crime by Ditet Mazur. The last book on the shelf is The Life She Wants by Robin Carr. Now the next few I possibly could have put with the historical fiction as well, but this is just where they ended up. The first one is Tigers in Red Weather by Lisa Klossman. Next up is a series called The Flappers by Gillian Larkin, and the first book is called Vixen. The second book is Ingenue, and the third book is Diva. Starting to get into a little bit heavier of a content, we have The Five People You Meet in Heaven by Mitch Albom. Also by Mitch Albom, we have For One More Day. And I apologize if I butcher this name, but the next one is The Kite Runner, Khalid Hassini. The Memory Keeper's Daughter by Kim Edwards. The Lovely Bones by Alice Sebold. And lastly, we have The Yoga of Max's Discontent by Karan Bahaj. Next up, I have some biographies and memoirs. First, we have Tuesdays with Maury. This is a memoir by Mitch Albom. The Glass Castle by Jeanette Walls, also a memoir. Wild by Cheryl Strayed. Eat, Pray, Love, a memoir by Elizabeth Gilbert. Next up is a biography called Unbroken by Laura Hillenbrand. Landing on My Feet by Carrie Strug with John Lopez. When You Were Engulfed in Flames by David Sedaris. Last one on the shelf is Glitter and Glue by Kelly Corrigan. My second to last row on the bookshelf, this little cubby holds all of my One for the Money or the Stephanie Plum series by Janet Evanovich. This has so many books, so I'm going to try to just fly through them. So the first 4 books are 1 for the Money, 2 for the Dough, 3 to Get Deadly, and 4 to Score. Then we have High Five, Hot 6, 7 Up, and Hard 8. Then we have To the Nines, 10 Big Ones, 11 on Top, and 12 Sharp. Then we have Lean Mean 13, Fearless 14, Finger Licking 15, and Sizzling 16. Then you have Smokin' 17, Explosive 18, Notorious 19, and Takedown 20. Then there is Top Secret 21, Tricky 22. Lastly, there are a couple little novellas or in-between novels called Plum Spooky, Visions of Sugar Plums, Plum Lucky, and Plum Lovin'. This next shelf has a few classics and then a couple others that I had to read in either middle school or high school for classes. The Complete Sherlock Holmes Volume 1 by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. The Complete Sherlock Holmes Volume 2, Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. A super old school edition of Romeo and Juliet by William Shakespeare. The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton. The Diary of a Young Girl by Anne Frank. Where the Red Fern Grows by Wilson Rawls. Animal Farm by George Orwell. To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. Number the Stars. The Giver. Messenger. Gathering Blue. And Sun, all by Lois Lowry. This shelf has a bunch of middle grades and a couple reads, like I had mentioned a little bit earlier, that I found at my parents' house. So who knows how long it's been since I've read them. Some of them I can't even remember owning, but I do. So here we go. Operation Tenley by Jennifer Gooch Hummer. Tuck Everlasting by Natalie Babbitt. The Winter Room, Canyons, and the Rifle, all by Gary Paulson. I also own the Hatchet series by Gary Paulson. The River, Brian's Winter. Brian's Return, and Brian's Hunt. The Troll King by John Vornholt. Artemis Fowl by Ian Colfer. Holes by Louis Satcher. These two were actually my mother's from when she was in either middle school or high school. The one on the left is Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret by Judy Blume. The one on the right doesn't even have a cover anymore, and it is Killing Mr. Griffin by Lois Duncan. Into the Dark by R.L. Stein, which reminds me I wish I still had all my Goosebumps. Again, another really old one is Mummy by Caroline B. Cooney. Julio the Wolves by Jean Craighead George. Titanic The Long Night, the one on the left, which I'm assuming is the sequel, is called Remembering the Titanic, and they are by Diane Ho. Then I have my comics and graphic novels. The New Deal by Jonathan Case. Saga Volume 1, this is by Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples. Revival Volume 1, You're Among Friends. And Revival Volume 2, Live Like You Mean It, and these are both by Tim Seeley and Mike Norton. Then we have Chew Volume 1, called Taster's Choice. Volume 2, International Flavor, these are by John Layman and Rob Guillory. The next series I have for you is completed, and it is Sweet Tooth by Jeff Lemire. This one is Volume 1, titled Out of the Deep Woods. Volume 2 is called In Captivity. Volume 3 is titled Animal Armies. Volume 4, Endangered Species. Volume 5, Unnatural Habitats. Volume 6, Wild Game. Sex Criminals Volume 1, One Weird Trick. This is by Matt Fraction and Chip Zdarsky. Rat Queens Volume 1, Sass and Sorcery. This series is by Curtis J. Wybe and Rock Upchurch. Volume 2, The Far-Reaching Tentacles of Nigroth. And Volume 3, Demons. I Hate Fairyland, Volume 1, Madly Ever After by Scotty Young. Lady Killer by Joelle Jones and Jamie S. Rich. Alex and Ada, Volume 1, this is by Jonathan Luna and Sarah Vaughn. Volume 2, and Volume 3 wraps up this series. Paper Girls Volume 1, this is by Brian K. Vaughan, Chang, Wilson, and Fletcher. Miss Marvel Volume 1, No Normal, this is by Wilson and Alfona. Miss Marvel Generation Y, this is Volume 2 by Wilson, Alfona, and Wyatt. Another fun series is Lumberjanes Volume 1, Beware the Kitten Holy. This is by Stevenson, Ellis, Waters, and Allen. Lumberjanes Volume 2, Friendship to the Max. Lumberjanes Volume 3, A Terrible Plan by Stevenson, Waters, and Nowak. Lumberjanes Volume 4, Out of Time. This one is by Stevenson, Waters, Allen, and LaHoe. Giant Days Volume 1. This is by Allison, Treeman, and Kogar. Next up is Nimona by Noelle Stevenson. And lastly is Soppy by Philippa Rice. Down here in this lonely little corner on the bottom shelf is my Richard Castle series. These are based from Richard Castle, who is a TV character from Castle. If you guys don't watch that show, it is phenomenal, and I love that ABC decided to produce some of his books as well. So there are more out than what is here, but these are the only ones I've collected so far. So we have Heat Wave, Naked Heat, Frozen Heat, and Heat Rises. Next up is a series called Love Comes Softly. Love Comes Softly, Love's Enduring Promise, Love's Long Journey, Love's Abiding Joy, Love's Unending Legacy, Love's Unfolding Dream, Love Takes Wing, and Love Finds a Home. These next four are a spin-off of the Love Comes Softly series. This series is called A Prairie Legacy. This is book 1 called The Tender Years, A Searching Heart, Like Gold Refined, and A Quiet Strength. All of these are by Jeanette Oak. The next series that kind of fits into this old, like, not necessarily Western, but maybe more of like prairie, is Lights of Lowell, and this is called A Tapestry of Hope. It's by Tracy Peterson and Judith Miller. This is book 1. Book 2 is A Love Woven True, and I do not own book 3. These books are ones that I was given, and the A-List series that I have going on up there is actually incomplete, so I have not finished it, nor have I read a couple of the last few that I have gotten, and these are ones that probably need a reread and decide whether or not they stay or go. So this is the first book in the A-List series called The A-List by Zoe Dean, Girls on Film, Blonde Ambition, Tall Cool One, Back in Black, Some Like It Hot, and the last one that I own is American Beauty. Then I have this series by Mindy Classy. I have 2 of this copy because the first one I had actually was missing a whole page, so I ended up having to purchase another one. This is How Not to Make a Wish, When Good Wishes Go Bad, and lastly, To Wish or Not to Wish. Only 2 more shelves to go, and this one is like my motivational or kind of business books. First we have The Secret, and then we have The Power by Rhonda Bryan, Big Magic, Creative Living Beyond Fear by Elizabeth Gilbert, Loved this one. Girl Boss by Sophia Amoruso. And last on the shelf is The Talent Code by Daniel Coyle. The last shelf here features my beauty and fashion books. The first book is The Curated Closet by Anishka Reese. Then I have The 5-Minute Face by Carmody. That Extra Half Inch by Victoria Beckham. Nina Garcia's What to Wear for Every Occasion lookbook. The 100, A Guide to the Pieces Every Stylish Woman Must Own by Nina Garcia. The Style Strategy, A Less is More Approach to Staying Chic and Shopping Smart by Nina Garcia. And the very last book on the shelf is The Little Black Book of Style by Nina Garcia. Alright you guys, so that is everything on my shelf. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to leave a thumbs up, and I will see you guys next time. I hope you have a great day. Bye.